What up? What up? What up? Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, 3 4 5 6. Can everyone hear me? What up, live chat? If you're just joining us, welcome. And for those of you who were in the other live stream, welcome back. I guess there was some buffering issues and things like that, so I reset the stream from 1080p to 720p. So hopefully the live stream will keep its integrity. That might have been too much stress on the network. So yeah, welcome back. What up, Benjamin? How you doing? El May 69. What up? What up? And I retitled this live stream because now I'm thinking, why don't we have that conversation? Why don't we talk about the workflow and the value of a Cubasis 3 versus something like an Audio Evolution Mobile? And I just want to make sure that everyone is able to see the Audio Evolution Mobile on the screen. Makita Unknown, what up? How you doing? What up, Benjamin? How you feeling? How's the quality of that? How's the quality of that? I think it looks a little crazy on my end, but it's just what we got to deal with because I don't want the stream to drop out. What up, Sherman? How you doing? Welcome back. Oh, it's iMaze. Okay, okay, okay. My bad. It's not L Maze, it's iMaze. Okay. Sounds better. Okay, okay. Yes, yes. Okay, so the question that I think is important now is understanding is Cubasis, hold on, Beatmaker 3, then send them stems to Audio Evolution. Can it do AEV3s and automations? Okay. Yes, to answer your question, it can do AEV3s and it can do them in a spectacular way. I hope that the stream quality isn't too bad and that you're able to follow me on the screen here. But this here is called the effects grid. And the effects grid, I believe, I'm pretty sure that you can use as many plugins as you want, as much as your iDevice or Android device can handle. So, for instance, I'm just gonna go crazy here. 1 second. Let me I gotta address something here. Okay. So you hit one of these rectangles and then you go to audio unit and you can select which audio unit you would like to use. So I will do something like an equalizer first, and then I will do, say, a compressor second. Whoa, where's my compressor at? Come on back. There we go. So then I've got my compressor. And then I would do something after that like, let's say, a reverb. Check, 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 check. Bring that reverb all the way down. And, I could keep going from there. Put in, I don't know, something like a delay. Check, 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 check. Bring that down. Check, 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 check. Bring that feedback down. Just want to hear it subtly. Maybe put it at like 1%. Check. All right. Yep, just enough. Bring that feedback down. Check. So it's just hiding in the background there. Okay, yeah. So let's go back to the, let me mute that, check, check. So yeah, you can mute the effect and see if you like it or not. But let's go back to the effects grid here. So you can see it's muted. And then the question, I don't know for sure, but we'll find out right now, is what part of the chain is this at? Is this before or after these four? So I'm not quite 100% sure about the order, but this EQ here I do know is controlling this one right here. So your volume is right here. You can control it in the effects grid layout, or you could control it directly right here. So that's really intuitive. If you want something a little more precise where you can actually see the decibels and the panning as well, you can get a more exact thing. You have a bunch of different ways you can do that, and that's not something I've really seen before on an iOS app, iOS DAW. So I like that a lot. And now you can do your send level stuff here. But yeah, this thing will just keep going with effects, and you just keep on adding them in as you would like, and it just keeps going and going. And we're still going. So as you can see, this is something you can't do in other DAWs. You can't just endlessly add more things. Now I wonder, is this stopping? I don't see a connection here. So I'm wondering how I need to see this line go to here somehow, some way. Let's see, how do we get that line to go there? Swap. Okay, so you could swap the effects, you could swap the order by holding them down, but I really want to see that this line that shows me audio is going there too. So that's not something, let's see, you can, okay, so you can insert, okay, you insert a column. So I'm not sure how the flow of the audio is working at this time. That's something I'm gonna have to research. And if you go to try to, they've got to get this done. But if you go to help and you say online manual, it will say that the manual is not currently available. So unfortunately, we're left a little to fend for ourselves with these newer features such as the effects grid. So that's why I don't have everything in order with how to use it just yet. But you can just see that the implications this feature has is just crazy. You get so much power. You can just endlessly add in plugins as much as your iDevice can handle. Other DAWs have said, you know what, you get 3, you get 4, you get 6. No, Audio Evolution Mobile said you get as much as you want. So very, very cool indeed. Something to definitely check out. Let's unmute that delay. You can hear the delay again. So as you're mixing and testing things out, I like that you're able to easily bypass things. You could really work in this effects grid, totally work in the effects grid without ever really going back to the timeline, because you've got your playhead information here, and you can go to a different part of the track down here and decide where you want to play from, which is really cool. Let's see. Yeah, so I just played from there. Now let's play from the beginning. So while I'm very, very cool. So while you're playing back though, you would be able to work within the effects grid and do all of your like mixing and things like that on this channel without needing to leave that screen, and you could just focus on the sound of the music that you're mixing, which is really cool. Now, of course, obviously to go to another track, you've got to go and click it, and then you go to the effects grid again and do it that way. So very, very interesting and creative way to do your mixing and your workflow and things like that. It has a bit of a learning curve, but once you kind of get into it, I think you'll really like the features here. I really like the effects grid because sometimes if you're dealing with a different kind of sound, You want to just go crazy piling on the effects. You don't want to be limited to 4 or 6. You want to just put as many different effects on things and just see what happens. Put an EQ, then a distortion, then a compressor, then put another EQ on after that, then a reverb, then a compressor, then you might want to go crazy one day just to see what it's going to sound like and really mangle a sound. And having that effects grid is really cool for being able to do that. Okay, let me check out the live chat. I don't want to leave y'all hanging. The reverb was Bleece. Yeah, it was the Bleece delay. It was the Bleece delay. And was it the Bleece reverb also? Let's go back to that track. Let me make sure I'm plugging these which track was it? Was it this one? We have Bleece reverb and Bleece delay. So yeah, definitely check those out. Bleece delay is still to this day one of my favorite delays on iOS. I love it. Benjamin says that's a sick feature. Yeah. Makita Unknown says in Beatmaker 3 and NS2 you can add as many plugins as you want. Okay, definitely. That is a beautiful thing. I was really speaking to like an Aria or a Cubasis just because of the vocal tracking, features and things like that I would use either of those apps for. I felt more limited, but for those beat making apps, you're definitely just good. Benjamin says kind of like AUM. Russ says, this app has been kicking about for some time. I just seen it on my old iPad Air. Yes, this app has been out for a minute, and it's been very slept on. Audio Evolution Mobile has tons of internal effects. I love that. They even have a vocal remover. Where is that vocal remover at? I want to see what that is. So for those of you who need any kind of auto tune, first of all, ever get Vocal Tune Pro. Henry, you ain't missed that much. We were just having a conversation on the last live stream, and now we're getting more into some of the features on this one. But I'm glad to have you in the chat because I know you're an Audio Evolution Mobile Pro, so definitely look forward to having your feedback on the different features and whatnot. Let's see here. But yeah, get Vocal Tune Pro if you have any need for pitch correction. It's one of the best, if not the best, that I've seen so far. I love this layout. I love the control over the different keys. It's just a beautiful thing. Just the power. It's nice to have, and it actually sounds really good. So definitely check that out. Let me go back into the effects grid and see the vocal remover. No, I don't want to remove the column. Let's see. Vocal remover. Check. 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 Now, Benjamin, how would you use this? This is crazy. In what circumstance would you use this plugin? I'm interested in knowing how you would go about using it. I know I set this stream up with a bit of a delay so that it wouldn't freeze up again. So I'll wait here a second. Benjamin says, I would probably use it for samples. And Henry says, absolutely. Audio Tune Pro is great. I've bought it already. Are you talking about Vocal Tune Pro inside the app, or are you talking about the app Audio Tune by AudioKit? And Benjamin, I would definitely, using it for samples to clean some things up. It almost, like, I'm wondering, is this kind of... Check. Is it designed to get noise out of a recording? Check. Like certain problematic frequencies, maybe? Like, I don't know if you got an air conditioner or something like that running in the background. Is that what it's supposed to do? Hopefully, when the manual comes out, they give us more info on that since it's in a internal effect. Remove vocals from tracks to sample. Yep, that would be dope too. J Squad says I use FL Studio Mobile and FL Studio 20.7. Now, J Squad, what do you feel they could add to FL Studio Mobile in order to make it a better beat making DAW? Does it have a piano roll? Makita asks. Yes, it does. Let's get to a MIDI track. Let's show you the piano roll. I really like the Evolution 1 plugin instrument. It's based on Audio Kit. I believe it's Synth 1, I want to say. Hopefully I'm getting that right. But it's based on the Audio Kit source code. I think it's open source, so they use that to build this out. And as you can see, we've got the piano here. Let me turn this track down so that I don't kill y'all with that being too loud. So, let's see, load preset. So yeah, you've got the piano right here, and you also get the piano with every other MIDI instrument that you would use inside of here. So I don't know. Let's use something like these new Swamp instruments. Now, what I would have liked to see that you see inside of Cubasis 3 is you get access to the Swamp keyboard, which is much better than this stock keyboard here in terms of playing MPE and things like that. But you do get it, and you are able to record your MIDI and things like that. Now, the drum pattern thing leaves a lot to be desired. You know, you can't have everything. Hopefully, in the future, they go ahead and tighten that up. But right now, yeah, it's kind of, it's okay. But the grid is a little, it's a little, basic. Things like that. So, yeah, things I'd like to see improved is official pads and, just kind of them tightening that up a little bit. And let me jump back into the live chat. J Squad says it works good for samples, but it does have a good piano roll for drums and its stock sounds. Are you talking about FL Studio Mobile? I just want to be clear about that, J Squad. Henry says, no, he's talking about the Vocal Tune Pro inside of the Audio Evolution mobile app, not the Audio Kit Audio Tune. Okay, gotcha. Sherman says you could use Vocal Remover to make a filter-like effect on a vocal-heavy song. It won't completely remove it, so you can tweak it and make something nice. Same with synth sounds. Absolutely. The filters are required when you're dealing with samples. I did a track with an In Vogue sample, Don't Let Go, and I ran it through like these crazy filters, and it just gave it a whole new sound. I pitched the vocal down, slowed the song down, and ran it through the filter. So the filter is definitely mandatory. Paco Bravo says all they need is to clean up the interface. It looks packed with features, but have to keep tapping to change the screen from mixer to timeline to instruments, etc. Absolutely. They did, I don't know if you're aware, Paco, but they just, Paco or Paco, I don't want to say this wrong, but they just added a feature now where you don't have to go from the edit to the scroll back and forth. You can just always be in an edit mode and be able to scroll also. And that makes it a lot easier with respect to editing tracks. And they added this cool kind of right click feature with these three dots at the bottom that just gives you a lot of access to everything. So they're definitely on their way with the workflow side of it. But I agree, they got to tighten a few things up. Ravi said, okay, hold it. J Squad says, I think FL Studio Mobile should add VST usage to the app, just like how ZenBeats is. Okay, so you're speaking on AEV3? Absolutely, yeah. It needs AEV3, just like a ZenBeats, and pretty much every DAW on iOS right now. We definitely got to have that. Ravi says, hi, does this DAW have MIDI learn feature for automation, for expression, and volume work with external faders? Okay. Let's see. Let's go over that. Let's go over that here real quick. Does it allow like a MIDI learn and things like that? So we can sync the MIDI to a device like the playhead and whatnot, but I'm not entirely sure if we're actually able to assign the faders to MIDI. I don't know if we're able to do a MIDI learn. We might be able to, and I just don't know how that's possible. The manual right now is also not available. It's being updated, so I can't even go into a manual and find out. So unfortunately, unless somebody in the live chat is aware of how to do that, if it's possible, or if it is possible, I can't really answer that at this time. But it does not appear to have, from just a first glance, it doesn't appear to have MIDI learn. Ravi. You can control MPE effects from your mobile phone as the controller. Really? Okay, okay. Appreciate that, Russ. I got to see that in action. That's pretty cool. Henry says, I'd love to see Audio Evolution Mobile allow free movement of apps on the arrangement window, not just the effects grid. Arrangement window. Can you kind of describe what you mean a little bit? Because I'm I'm not seeing any plugins other than the effects grid option. Are you talking about when it's got the 3 or 4 plugin option mode? Is that what you're speaking on, Henry? What up, Grega? Pacquiao says, pronounce it how you feel. He also says MIDI Learn is on the way, the developer said. Okay, that's great news. So Ravi, currently no MIDI Learn, but it's on the way. And if this developer's track record is anything to go off of, they're not playing, and they're going to get that out as soon as possible. Russ says there's a video on YouTube from Thomas on how to set up Swan to be controlled by your phone. Definitely. Pacquiao said, he also said it will be just for internal effects and the mixer. Okay, so there won't be any MIDI learning on the audio unit plugins. Okay. That's good to know. I'm not crazy about that. As long as the DAW can do what needs to be done, I'm fine with that. Maybe MIDI learn for the AEV3s can come later, but I could see how that could get complicated. The only thing I don't like is the grid on Audio Evolution. Now, are you talking about to Combo? Are you talking about the effects grid right here, or are you talking about the grid on the timeline? In the piano roll edit. All right, let's discover what's going on with this piano roll. Check. All right. Let's see. Let's play something. Let me mute these other tracks. All right. So I'm gonna play something on this here. The vocal. All right. So is this what you're speaking on? You don't like this grid here? Whoa, why did it just do that? So you select, why when I selected did it delete it? Why can't I have to go on and edit. Okay, yeah. Already you already lost me. Yeah, I don't like this toggling mode thing. It's like give me a simpler way, cuz now when I hit draw on something, I don't know, when it just was on draw mode, it just deleted it. See right there, it just deletes it. That's crazy. That's not a good look. Yeah, I'm definitely not sold on this DAW for beat creation, instrumental creation. I think Beatmaker 3, Nano Studio 2, a Cubasis is still kind of got those areas on lock, but I do like it a lot for the audio recording aspects of it and some of the editing. But yeah, this piano, the piano roll actually looks like it's got some potential. It's just some of the little quirks with the workflow. It's crazy because it's like it doesn't really need to change much. It just needs simple little changes that just in practice. If I don't know if the developer is a producer or an artist, but just little things in practice that they seem small on the surface, but when you really get to digging in a DAW, it makes all the difference. If you start getting frustrated with it, that's why I like a Nano Studio 2, and some of y'all like Cubasis 3 or Cubase, not Cubase 3, just Cubasis in general, or a Beatmaker 3, is because if the workflow works for you, once you're in the zone, you're just able to focus, and nothing is really taking you out of that. Certain things with this app, it's got a little bit of an issue with, but I think for the price of entry and how fast paced the developer is and all the things this app can do, it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. So let's see here. Now, I want to know everyone's thoughts on kind of the audio editing aspects of this versus a Cubasis. So, a couple things for me that stand out. I really like to be able to just click and split. That is a win for me with this app. I don't like the need to hit another button twice to remove it. Or the other way to remove it is to be in the same mode and then hit the three dots and then hit remove. I want a keyboard shortcut like delete or D or backspace on the keyboard would be great for me. But I love. I could see how with editing, this just being able to cut on demand like that would just help a workflow out so much. Another thing that I think is cool, I think I saw it here. Okay, so I can cut it and it ripples. I don't know if y'all saw that, so let me go ahead and go back here. But this is really good for like a podcast or say a tutorial, a video, things like that, where you don't want to just remove it and have that air gap, right? You want to do something like, you want to have a ripple edit where this part and this part will come together after you remove this part. So cut ripple, see it automatically brought those together right here. We can do the same thing. Cut ripple, bam. So now all of this has no air gaps. Let me my waveform in Cubasis for, so very cool feature there. So I'm loving the split. This is just life right here for a lot of editing on a track. And then the ripple, I don't like that you have to zoom in to get the three dots. I get why you have to, but I'd like a different option for that. And we just go cut ripple, and now it's brought it back together. So let's take out this split here. You're not doing this in Cubasis this easily. It's just not happening with the splitting. You've got to kind of select it with the playhead and things like that. But you can delete the track itself easier. but Cubasis does not have ripple editing, I don't believe. So that's another win for Audio Evolution Mobile. Okay, let me check out the live chat. Tacumbo says, yeah, it's kind of funky. I think talking about that grid definitely is. Russ says, I would say it's running at 70%, needs ironing out. Please tell me specifically what you're referring to that is running at 70%. Pacquiao says, imagine if they implement a Cubasis type interface. That would be a crazy match for Cubasis. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's close. I think it's close. I think dollar for dollar, Audio Evolution Mobile is a steal if you're just needing to do audio recording, vocal tracking, podcast editing, song recording, things like that. I'm not sold on it for beat making, but it could be done. If it's all you had, you would make this work no problem, I'm sure. But Cubasis is better at that. But for the audio editing, I think it's actually pretty close. Sherman says the grid is similar to Cubasis. Draw is supposed to delete and create new note points. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's the way the tools are implemented. Maybe it's the fact that it's designed to do those both things. I don't look at a draw as a delete. You know, I kind of like those to be separated. I think that's how Nano Studio 2 does it, and for me, it just works a little better. But it comes down to workflow. Same in GarageBand and Beatmaker 3. That's nothing new. Okay, so that's me not being used to that workflow because I'm coming from Nano Studio 2 where they kind of separate those a little bit. Russ says, reminds me of an old school meets new school app. Yep. Henry says, in AUM, you can move your audio unit interface around while still working on your project, but in AEM, you have to open your effects grid or close it before you can get back into the arrangement window. Absolutely. Zenbeats has something like that too, where you can actually have the windows be more like a computer where they can move around freely. So I would definitely like to see something like that inside of Audio Evolution Mobile also. And Benjamin says Beatmaker 3 for creation, but Audio Evolution Mobile for live vocals or instruments for me. Yep, I gotta agree with that. Another app for creation. In your case, Beatmaker 3, but Audio Evolution Mobile for live vocals or instruments for sure. I think that's the winning combination. Pacquiao says the audio editing looks, especially the split, you can keep splitting without having to click on the audio, then split like in Q. Exactly. That is a huge, huge deal. And I've seen on your channel you're doing some vocal recording now. So I know that's a big deal when you're trying to get to the mix phase and really finish up a track. Especially with a lot of comping occurring, a lot of different edits occurring when you're just going like, I don't know, for one track, a person might do 7 different layers and then need to cut different parts of different layers in order to make it all work. Having this split feature be this easy, this is one of the best split features on iOS. Ferret's got a cool one where you can kind of do like a Fruit Ninja where you slice the waveform with your pencil or with your finger. And it it's kind of intuitive. You can miss sometimes, but it's kind of cool. But this is really nice. It's really accurate. It's very tactile. You just hit it and it just does it. It's a beautiful thing. This is one of the best features of this app, as well as the ability to do the ripple edits, something you cannot do in many apps. So very, very nice. Sherman says Beatmaker 3 for live performances too. He agrees with Benjamin. If that's your thing, I'm learning it and it's actually nice for live stuff. Yeah, it definitely is. I think Beatmaker 3 needs to get bought by Native Instruments, and it needs to become like a machine integrated situation in a complete control integrated situation. If something like that was to happen, that would be incredible. I'm sure it won't, but that would be the perfect match. J Squad said, I heard that Image Line is adding in arpeggiator and sound font usage to FL Studio Mobile soon. Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish they would stop adding features and just add AUV3 for now, if I'm being honest, J Squad. I think AUV3, or kind of on the desktop equivalent would be like a VST or an audio unit, is really what FL Studio needs to give it, you know, the there's different apps that have arpeggiators. We could use the MIDI AU effects as an arpeggiator if that's the feature we need. And there's other AUV3 apps that can sample and can do sound fonts. So it's almost like we don't even need them to go out of their way to do that. They could just give us AUV3 and I think we'd be all set. Okay, Russ says every DAW has its strong points and its weaknesses. Oh, I'm way late on that. That was it. Okay, that was about 4 minutes ago. I'm sorry, I'm behind on these live these chats, y'all. Benjamin says, yeah, I can use Beatmaker 3 for everything, but I'm looking for better. Okay, Pacquiao said the same thing I said. Yeah, Image Line needs to implement AUV3. We need that. Benjamin says AEM needs some kinks worked out. Sherman says, I didn't even know about this app. I remember seeing it on Android a while ago, and I think that's why I never considered it, but it's actually pretty impressive for the price. Benjamin asks, can you use AEM and AUM? Okay. I do not know. That's a good question. Pacquiao says, wow, the machine thing will be crazy. I know, right? It just seems like such a perfect fit. And the thing that makes me really mad about Native Instruments is they're just so stingy with letting you even use the machine as a real MIDI controller like you can use with the Akai. There's always some kind of limitation or things just get weird when you want to use it as a MIDI controller. So it having a direct interface with Beatmaker 3, and imagine being able to do the NKS format. I think it's the NKS format, right? Where you can go and select all your samples directly on the hardware, and you would be scrolling through Beatmaker 3. That would just be insane. I mean, I think that would blow everything out of the water. I don't think anything else would even come close for a beat making interface. Now, for those of you who are currently Cubasis users who see this program and say, I'm not trying to make this a Cubasis 3 bashing thing at all. I love Cubasis. I just want to know for the comparison aspect of it. And if any of the developers come into the room or they see this later on, they're able to understand why one thing versus the other. For any of you Cubasis users who look at Audio Evolution Mobile and say, yeah, it's okay, but I'm going to stick with my Cubasis. What about Cubasis makes you feel that way? What could the Audio Evolution Mobile developers do to maybe have you give this app a try and maybe have it replace Cubasis? And the same question vice versa for those of you who use Audio Evolution Mobile, who own both apps, and you kind of lean toward Audio Evolution Mobile. What makes you go for this app instead of Cubasis? What does Cubasis need to do to kind of get you to use it on a more regular basis? So here's the mixer screen here, by the way, while waiting for that live chat to go ahead and answer that. Okay, there's a lag. Oh, this little stream just can't get it together. Check. Check 1 2. Starting to buffer again. Let's see. Let's see. Check 1 2. Okay, to Sherman, if y'all can hear me right now, can y'all hear me? You can do, if you have a 3D touch device, you can actually use GeoShred, and GeoShred has this feature where it can recognize the pressure sensitivity and things like that. If you have an iPhone 10 or I believe an iPhone 10 10s XS can do it also. I believe everything from an iPhone 6s from a 6s to a 10s is able to do the 3D touch feature. Check 1 2. All right. Just wanted to make sure we were good. Okay. Let's see. Packout says, nice question. The interface in AEM, I just don't like tapping too many windows in Cubasis. Everything is in front of you, mixer timeline plugins. That is a fact. That is a fact. Jamie just popped in and he says, it's weird. I beta tested Cubasis 3, and for me, it's now way more stable. But people with superior iPads than my old thing are reporting issues I'm not having. Yeah, Cubasis has this thing where it's like it's backwards. The I think the multi-core feature, I think when you have it enabled at certain times, it leads to just a lot of issues that wouldn't normally be there. I forget what exactly it was that I did to fix it, but I had a lot of issues in crackling too on my iPad Pro 2018 11 inch. So, yeah. Jamie also says he's disappointed. I don't believe Cubasis 3 is a good enough progression from 2 to warrant the price with no upgrade path from 2. And Benjamin says, I guess I just love the drum pads and Beatmaker 3 better. Packout says, the only thing I wish Cubasis 3 would do is a way to edit easily, split different audio events just like in Audio Evolution Mobile. I agree with that. Packout, what do you think about the Waves plugin being stripped down like it was with no piano keys available, in the fact that they gave it to us, but it's not the same as the desktop? Do you feel like there was a reason for that that was justified other than the fact that they want to limit us? Jamie says, and we are still waiting for the MIDI mapping, mono export, and tempo track. Yeah, yeah. You would think with a company as mature as a Steinberg, I know it's only a few guys doing this specific app, but you would think that some of these things would be quite doable. So it's kind of crazy that these features are still not there. But hopefully in the next update, if it comes in April or May or something, it'll have these things being addressed. Benjamin says, I'm just like, if I pay more, I want more. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's the scale. I think it's the scale. I think like $50 compared to a desktop DAW, it's a good deal. But I think $50 compared to the $10 of Audio Evolution Mobile, like it's not even close. Audio Evolution Mobile for the price is crazy. You know what? I'm gonna pop into Cubasis real quick because I want to just do a couple comparisons. I kind of walk through the split, this split is just beautiful. It is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Then we can select it, do that, put a fade on it. So 1 second, I'm going to pop into Cubasis. I'm going to put a little thing on the screen real quick. It's going to say begin shortly, but obviously, we already in here. Actually, you know what? I ain't going to do that. I'm going to show you the microphone I'm using in this right now so that y'all can take a look at that microphone. There we go. And as I do that, I'm going to launch Cubasis. Check, check, check. All right, we've got double here. Check, check, check. Check 1 2, check 1 2. All right, let's get back open again. Let's see. All right, so now we are in Cubasis officially. And let's see here. Let's record something. Check 1 2, check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 on the live stream with my iPad beat making family. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. Please be sure to ask any questions or let me know what you want me to test out within these apps to see which one you would go with your money. Or if you currently have both of the apps, which one you should go with going forward. I can tell you one thing I already don't like about this app is the fact that I've got this spinning disc while I'm recording my vocal. I have no idea how loud my vocal is in terms of if I'm going to clip the levels, things like that. That is painful for me. I've got to go to the mixer screen and hope that I'm getting everything right. But I would really prefer to see a waveform as I am recording. So that's one thing I don't like already. And with that said, let's stop this recording. All right, so there we are. We've got our waveform. And yes, before I continue this, I want to make sure, can everyone see what we have going on in Cubasis? Can everyone still hear me? I did just switch the AW, so I want to make sure that everything is still visible to everybody. Just giving it a minute for the live stream to confirm that they can hear what's going on. Okay, okay. Let me change this Wi-Fi mode. Maybe I see this delay is kind of crazy. Okay. All right, now that we've got that confirmed by y'all, I will keep going. And already I am missing my split feature as I'm looking at this audio. We've got to hit the split button. And I do like the fact that you're able to just edit things easy with this, but obviously we've got no ripple edit. And if we want to delete something, we can just hit erase, which makes that situation much better for those reasons. Because I don't like needing to select a remove mode and then go and do all that. That's kind of crazy. So I also like about Cubasis is that you're able to have access to all of your mixing tracks while you also have your timeline out here. So that is a really cool feature for when you want to check the levels of your track. And I gotta say, I really do like the split feature a lot better in Audio Evolution Mobile. Just going from one to the other, it's a total different type of workflow, especially working with the mouse. Your wrists will start to hurt after you got to click this thing all these different times and then drag it, back, because it's just not. I mean, you can go through and hit split like crazy and then erase, but it's not. I mean, it's not. Obviously, it's not crazy. If you like Cubasis, this is what you're gonna want to do, but you need to highlight it, then hit it. So it's another like 2 to 3 step process with trying to select the area, because just being right there is not enough. You now need to hit it, then you need to split. Now it deselects it. Now you need to go select somewhere else, hit split again, then you need to go and hit erase. So few things that I could, I would prefer they would have done differently. But I do like, I don't know, I know you guys can't see what keys I just pushed on the keyboard, but I do like the fact that we can hit delete and it automatically deletes it. Control Z brings everything back. So Audio Evolution Mobile definitely needs to tighten up with respect to the keyboard shortcuts. Um, Also in Cubasis, you can use a keyboard to split. So if you use Command, if you have it highlighted and use Command S, you've just split the track. So another win for Cubasis there. So hypothetically, you want to work fast, you could hit Command S, select somewhere else, Command S. Well, you got to select it again. Command S, take this, select it again, bam, hit delete. It's less moving of the mouse to the top area, but yeah, it's still one of those things where it's a few steps involved. Let's check out the live chat. Pacquiao says, just hold on till April or May and you will be surprised by Steinberg. Okay. Not going to ask you to disclose any further, but that looks like great news. Benjamin says that ripple cut is special. Yeah, it really is. It really is special, especially when you're editing long form audio where you're not trying to be on beat, but you're trying to have as least air gaps as possible. I mean, just imagine over the course of an hour needing to edit something down to make it, I don't know, 30 to 45 minutes by taking away all those air gaps. Slicing and ripple editing in Audio Evolution Mobile is going to make that experience so much better. Another thing with Cubasis 3 is sometimes when I reopen a project, it replaces my sounds with the default preset of the app. Yes, this is a thing. I would always recommend to you, if you love your project, do 2 things. First of all, freeze it. that's thing one. But let me play something real quick. Let me turn this down. I just want to See if this example is going to work here. Bring my keys back. Up, back to the beginning. No, the beginning. There we go. That's amazing to me. We get more data playing MIDI during recording than we do with a waveform. Like, that's insane. Why can we see the MIDI notes in real time, but we can't see the waveform? Hopefully, Pacquiao, that update has that has that issue solved. Okay, so check, check, check. All right, so I just froze that audio. Now, what I would do in your situation is say acoustic piano. I would write down what that preset was on each track, that and then you always have that as a reference. So Sherman, I would definitely do it that way, because that'll at least save you the frustration of not knowing what the preset is when you know that you're having an issue with presets loading or not being recalled properly. So I do two steps. One will be freezing it. The second step would be going to the notepad and writing down the name of that preset. So just in case you wanted to unfreeze it and go back and edit that preset in any way, you know what preset it was. So that's how I would work. Mark Frank says, can mobile beat making be used seriously? Absolutely. 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 Yeah. Anything you can do on a computer within reason, you can do. Not Reason the app, I mean just reasonably speaking. If you're not trying to record, crazy hundred soundtracks, you can definitely use mobile seriously. We've got desktop class plugins such as FabFilter, Tone Boosters, IK Multimedia Mixbox. We've now got the audio modeling Swarm instruments. Yeah, it can definitely be taken serious. We're compatible with all kinds of interfaces. I'm using a USB mic for this that's like $600, but I've got it running in on another thing into an Apogee Duet that works fine. I've got a Motu M4, works fine. So most interfaces are now class compliant, and you can do everything seriously like you would do on a computer, just to answer your question, Mark. Benjamin says, I don't understand in AEM how to just grab a track and move it. Let's take a look at that. Let me drop back into Audio Evolution Mobile here real quick. So give me a second. I'm going to check that out. Check, check, check. All right, so now we're back in Audio Evolution Mobile. Let's see, because we got to be able to move the track around. That is mandatory. Okay, yeah, you just move the track. You just grab it, pull it, real simple. And I love that you got this timeline feature down here so you can see where exactly you are at in the track. This is almost like how LumaFusion has their timeline set up. Very, very cool. I like that. Sherman said, I save and stay in the session. It's okay. I leave the app and come back. Trash sound. I just don't like to have to take the extra steps to redo what was already done. Yeah, that's the reality of it, unfortunately, sometimes with these apps, that they're not going to recall your stuff properly. If you're noticing that's a problem and you care, that's kind of the steps you got to take sometimes. I'm not crazy about producing within Cubasis. I like Nano Studio 2 better or Beatmaker 3 better, but even they have issues with recall sometimes, so it's not exclusive to Cubasis 3, even though it might happen more often than that. You said you got a $600 USB mic. Yeah, this microphone I'm talking to you on is a $600 USB mic. And I'm not trying to flex. I'm just trying to say that iPad and iOS devices can have many different levels of professional equipment hooked up to them that really eliminates the barriers to all the things that you would do on a computer. Because a lot of people feel like you have to have a stripped down version of a device in order to use it on an iPhone or an iPad, and that's just not the case. Benjamin says AEM is impressive to me because of the editing and the recording, and because of the editing and recording guitars. Absolutely. I know you've been looking for a solution for this for a while, and I'm glad you found it in Audio Evolution Mobile, because there's nothing worse than having an ideal workflow in mind and nothing is fitting it. J Squad says the frustration of FL Studio Mobile is when you accidentally delete a whole drum kit and then one or more of your samples that was in the sample folder will disappear from your project. Yeah, there's a few issues with respect to FL Studio Mobile that they need to work on and optimize with the workflow. I don't even think, like, I think I did like a audio track, and there's no easy way to edit the audio track. It's crazy to me. Why you guys having like an auto tune in there and there's no easy way to edit it? Maybe I'm missing it, but little things like that and the lack of AEV3 really make it kind of not what it should be. But those ghost notes are gorgeous inside of it, and it's got cool drum pad layout. It's got so much to really like about it. It's a really special little app. Tacumbo, you said scroll mode, then move. Have you checked out the latest update that now removes the scroll mode? You can now always be within scroll and edit mode at the same time. Have you checked that out? To check that out, you go into settings, user interface mode, beginner or experienced. I chose experienced, and then now you no longer have that issue with needing to switch those modes. And you get these 3 dots at the bottom of a clip that opens up so many more options. You can, I love this. This is so pro right here. So pro. So much that you can do in this app. Yeah. So using using this split is just beautiful. Best edit on iOS with the split for audio. You just can't beat that. Now, this makes more sense to remove when I want to do something like this. If I want to remove a bunch at a time, like I got all my splits predefined, the remove button makes a lot more sense in that scenario. I still would like the choice though. And you go to select mode, you could select more than one clip at the same time, which is really cool. And then here's the automation. I know a few of you were wondering about the automation modes. And channel volume. So here we go. We can go into the different parameters that we want to assign automation to, and there are a ton of them. Look at this. This is insane. So go into mute. We're on track 4. Current value. So then it turns it on, and then it turns it off. So let's see how that ends up playing out in real life. Let's see here. So turn that off. Solo this. Check, check. It definitely works. It's just not how I would actually automate in real life, but it's doing something. Let's see. track. Check, check. Okay, so holding on the mute. Okay, so I've got them reversed. So let's switch these out. All right. I really appreciate the fact that I can see the waveform as I'm tracking. All right. This automation is not making much sense to me right now. Maybe it's something simple and I'm just missing it. Let's see. I really appreciate the fact that I can see the waveform. Okay, that gets it to unmute. But let's say I want to mute it again. I need to put another dot there. I really appreciate the fact that I can see the... Okay, I got it now. So the dots is what defines the automation that we're seeing here. I thought it was like a little bit different. Usually these are drawn out different in different DAWs, but this is its way of doing it, which is pretty cool with these little dots in order to activate, deactivate. It's intuitive. I can see why they would do this for a mobile situation. So yeah, there's your automation there. And yeah, it works just fine. Sherman says, this is my main recording app now. Benjamin says, me too, Sherman. Cubasis owes me $40. Joshua, what up, what up? How you doing? Sherman says, all my life, I might get a refund for real. Benjamin says, I love the range feature too. Henry says, I wish I could mix and master my projects in AEM, but AUM works better for me because I can recall a complete preset of a rack rather than just a preset for an AUV3. It's a very good point. That's a very good point. One thing I would consider or ask you to consider is this is what I do, Henry, is I do as much as possible in Mixbox to get me there, and I have my preset set, and when I want to work fast, I will, you know what, if you're using a similar source, you can run all this stuff through buses. And if you run it through buses, it saves you going track by track, channel by channel, but the AUM workflow